What's up, Mac Nowstalgia? Dave here with the review of Rico Nasty's third album, Rico. I think Rico at this point has really established herself as one of the hardest to pin down rappers we have, namely for her genre versatility and her very willingness to jump around and make all kinds of different songs. And when you put all that together with her, rapping style, which of course is very aggressive, very aggro, very, tight, physical, texture-filled flows. The passion, the energy is very paramount. She's, a unique blend. I've been a fan of Rico's for some time at this point, and I think she always is hard to predict, and that's what makes her so fun to listen to and pay attention to. Rico Nasty's third album, Lethal, does a good job of giving you the Rico Nasty you're familiar with, that really aggressive, physical, energetic rap style, alongside a lot of other stuff that's newer to her sound, but still feels kind of right at home with what she does. These hyper pop infused, light, airy songs, distorted and pitched up vocals. It's a fun blend and a fun mix because you never really know what you're going to get from her. Naturally, that means there's big ups and big downs, and I do think that Lethal certainly has some misses to it, but there's also a lot of good highlights, and I think songs that just kind of make sense as Rico songs that you want to hear from her, because she does have a unique and singular voice at this point, just because of her sheer personality and how she's able to bounce that off of all these different kind of genre styles and experimentations. Kicking it off with the song Who Want It, really hard flow. I think it's kind of simple, the flow itself, but there's just enough aggression behind it that it still works. And the gloomy drums, Rico's never really done drill, but I mean, the kind of haunting vibe on a song like this gives you a similar sentiment. I do think the Who Want It hook, though, is a little bit meh, even if Rico, again, is pretty passionate about how she's doing it. Teeth Sucker, that definitely has some like punk rock energy for sure. The guitar is certainly jamming. A faster flow, but again, I think the hook is just meh once again. On the Low, one of the singles, I mean, this is a really fun chorus, kind of in her past hyperpop lineage, very sing-songy. I think she's pretty good at it, and would I call her like an amazing singer? No, but when it's kind of like pitched up and auto-tune, mixed the way a song like this is, I think it's successful. I think this is probably one of the best songs here, to be honest, which is not something you would have pointed to back when, Rico was blowing up with a song like Smack a Bitch or something like that. Pink stands out for that pitched up vocal specifically. I think Butterfly Kisses, that one's just okay. The beats quite busy, to be honest, a little too busy for me. Eat Me, I think this one's cool because it's like Rico giving you like a under her breath, like exasperated style flow, a bit different. Once again, kind of a repetitive hook. And then you get a new flow halfway through the song, but I do think the beginning is more interesting. Soul Snatcher, back to one of those sung flows once again. Grave is certainly a rage rap song in the vein of Cardi and Yeet and everything we have these days. The guitar is pretty big on that one. Smoke Break, kind of a pure punk song from her. Really no compromises made with that, but she's, I think, authentic in doing something like that. It doesn't come across as craven or desperate to switch up the sound. I mean, that's part of her artistry at this point. Similarly with Crash, I think that one's more sung, but almost in the pop punk style of things versus kind of pure punk rock from the previous stuff. And the fast drums on Crash are a really nice touch. Can't Win 'Em All, that's kind of like the crooner style singing song. That's really not my speed from Rico. I don't think that's playing to her strengths. Not really super interesting to me. Say We Did, I do think the rapping is pretty good on that. Kind of like more of that pitter patter flow. Pretty cool production over those synths. I think overall this is another Rico album, and you're getting, I think, a quite the mix. Maybe you haven't gotten quite this much variety in one individual project. You think back to 3 years ago with Las Ruinas, there was a lot of different sounds on that one for sure. This is probably in that vein. And, Rico has talked about feeling like she's, grown up a little bit, matured, even, as she's entered her late 20s. She's been a mom for quite some time at this point. So I think she said some of the stuff that she did earlier in her career, she doesn't necessarily relate to anymore, which is, of course, only natural. But honestly, this still sounded like a Rico album. This really made sense to me. So I do think there's a bunch of songs worth revisiting on this. And I think, again, rooting for Rico. I want to see her live. I've never seen her perform live. I missed her past tour too, for various reasons. I'm hoping she goes on tour once again with this. I will do my best to see her just because, again, that energy, I know she'll bring it. So looking forward to that. Yeah, let me know, though, what you think of Rico Nasty's third album, Lethal. What'd you like most about it? And for more music reviews, more rap reviews, subscribe. And I'll see you next time.